Before this video ends, you'll discover how, in the last hour, maybe even just minutes ago, someone silently manipulated your thoughts, twisted your reality, and you didn't even notice. Cashier. Most people here buy the more expensive gum. It lasts longer and it's better quality. In that moment, 3 psychological triggers hit you at once: social proof, in-group bias, rhythmic anchoring. Your brain processed it all in less than a second, long before your conscious mind caught up. This is micro-manipulation, an almost invisible nudge that hijacks your decisions, bypassing your conscious mind entirely. And it's not just sales tricks. It's woven into every conversation, every relationship, every political game you play. You think you control your mind. You believe your thoughts are your own. But what if I told you your reality is a battlefield? A silent war rages for control over your beliefs, your emotions, your very soul, fought by invisible forces pulling strings beneath your awareness. Picture a conversation. 2 people. One believes they're free, autonomous, in control. The other, the invisible puppet master, a master of silence, subtle glances, and invisible strings. Their weapons aren't loud commands, but delicate flicks of your subconscious, bending your will without a word. Micro-manipulation is no modern invention. From the courts of Rome to tribal councils, power has long been won through invisible threads. The Stoics taught that true power lies in mastery of self. But they also warned us, external forces will control you if you remain blind. Carl Jung described the shadow, the unconscious part of ourselves, filled with darkest fears, desires, and impulses, hidden even from our conscious mind. But here's the twist. The shadow isn't just inside you, it's also outside. In others, it's a weapon. Micro-manipulators don't just mirror your vulnerabilities. They weaponize your deepest fears and blind spots, like skilled surgeons flipping emotional switches that fracture your autonomy bit by bit. Think back. The last conversation that left you feeling unsettled without explanation. What subtle cues went unnoticed? A lingering silence, a cold glance, a forced smile. That feeling, it's the puppet master's signature. Flicking switches in your subconscious to chip away at your will. Your brain floods with 11 million pieces of data every single second. But your conscious mind can only catch about 40 of them. The rest rushes straight into your emotional core, deciding your feelings before you even realize you felt them. Imagine seeing a face, a flicker of anger, a twitch of contempt lasting less than a quarter of a second. See that light in your amygdala? That pause triggers primal abandonment fear, the same neural pathway as childhood separation anxiety. And yet, your conscious mind might never register this flicker. Paul Ekman, the pioneer of micro-expression research, showed these fleeting facial cues betray genuine emotions. Even trained professionals miss most of them, but your brain reads these signals instantly. Tomorrow, I dare you. Watch for these fleeting micro-expressions during your conversations. A subtle tightening around the eyes, a twitch in the corner of the mouth. Notice how your body reacts before words are spoken. Ask yourself, what is really being communicated beneath the surface? This is not just biology. It's a battlefield between your conscious freedom and unconscious influence. To reclaim your mind, you must understand power's true nature. Nietzsche declared, "The will to power is the fundamental human drive, a force shaping every thought and action. But this will is often unconscious, a shadow beneath your awareness." Machiavelli, the master of real politics, taught that perception is reality. Power isn't truth. It's the art of appearing powerful. Jung took this further, showing the shadow as both our greatest threat and greatest chance. When others weaponize their shadow against you through micro-manipulation, they chip away at your autonomy, your very soul. But Nietzsche warns, He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster. So ask yourself, what monsters are you inviting into your mind when you battle unseen forces? And who is really winning? What part of your own shadow are you afraid to face? How might it control you more than you realize? Words are just half the story. How you say them, tone, pitch, rhythm, carries invisible power. A simple phrase like, "Are you sure?" can sound like a soft question or a calculated weapon. When said with a slow, deliberate pause afterward, it plants a seed of doubt. Silence, not emptiness, but a loaded weapon. A pause pressing down like a heavy fog, forcing your mind to race into shadows you don't want to enter. When someone asks a question, then doesn't rush to fill the silence, they force you to fill it instead. Your mind scrambles to escape the void, often with thoughts of fear, uncertainty, or guilt. Neuroscience shows silence spikes cortisol, your brain's stress hormone, in as little as 7 seconds. Tomorrow, the next time someone leaves an awkward pause in a conversation, count to 7 silently in your head. Observe their reaction. Do they seem uncomfortable? Pressured? Chances are they're using silence to manipulate, weaponizing your imagination. Silence is not emptiness. It is a battlefield. Your mind will either conquer it or be conquered. Your body speaks constantly, often louder than words. Micro-expressions are only part of the picture. Body language is an unseen script written in posture, distance, and eye contact. Mirroring is one of the oldest and most powerful tools of influence. When someone subtly mimics your movements, posture, even breathing, you feel understood, connected, safe. But this is a carefully laid trap. Mirroring lowers your defenses. It creates a false sense of trust, making you vulnerable to subtle influence. Studies show mirroring increases compliance and empathy, but manipulative people weaponize this instinct, luring you into their sphere. Think of the last time you felt in sync with someone quickly, faster than normal. Were you manipulated, truly connected, or caught in a mirror's web? In the dance of power, your body is both weapon and shield. Words and information are powerful, but even more powerful is how they're framed. You could lose everything if you don't act now, versus you stand to gain if you try. Same facts, different emotions. Manipulators are masters of framing. They don't just control what you think, they shape how you feel about what you think. Framing biases your brain's reward and threat circuits, tilting your perception. What if your reality isn't objective? What if it's crafted daily by unseen hands? Tomorrow, notice how the framing of a message changes your emotional reaction. Ask yourself, whose frame am I inside, and how can I break free? Awareness alone is not enough. To reclaim your mind, you must train it, build immunity to manipulation. Because sovereignty isn't given, it's earned, step by step, day by day. Carl Jung taught that integration of the shadow is the key to freedom. To face your darkness, not suppress it. One ancient technique, active imagination, invites you to dialogue with your unconscious, to confront fears, insecurities, and the manipulative voices within. Tonight, in the quiet of your room, write down the moment today when your mind was hijacked, when you felt off, doubted, or controlled. Light a candle safely and burn the paper, saying aloud, "This energy is mine no longer." Feel how the weight lifts, how your mind sharpens, how your spirit grows stronger. Tomorrow, practice these small but powerful habits. Notice subtle shifts, a flicker in tone, a glance, a pause. Pause before reacting. Name your emotions. Question your assumptions. Breathe deeply, observe without judgment. Reflect. Set clear boundaries. Use silence as your shield. Remember, your conscious mind is the fortress where your true power lies. The silent war for your mind is real, but they only have power if you give it to them. Now, look back on today's interactions. Where did your reality shift, and what will you do tomorrow to reclaim your sovereignty?